Someone who's never seen the play, but liked part 1 of Wicked, but also wasn't like the biggest fan in the world of it, I'm here to tell you that Wicked Part 2, Wicked for Good, is not as good as the first one, but it's still pretty magical. Buddy, welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today we're discussing Wicked for Good. Of course, no spoilers here, but with the Wicked Witch of the West now demonized, Elphaba lives in exile in the Ozian forest, while Glinda resides at the palace in Emerald City, reveling in the perks of fame and popularity. As an angry mob rises against the Wicked Witch, she'll need to reunite with Glinda to transform herself and all of Oz for good. I already know there's going to be mass fans. I've already seen a lot of my friends who have gone to these films, to early screenings, and seen Wicked for Good and absolutely loved it to all ends. And a lot of these friends of mine were fans of the Broadway play as well. If you're one of those people who absolutely loves Wicked for Good, awesome for you. I'm so happy. I actually wanted to go into this movie and be in the minority and say I actually prefer the second act to the first act, because everyone I've talked to, whether it was the play or whether it was just these movies, always says, well, yeah, part two is pretty good, but part 1 is so much better. Part 2 kind of drops the ball a little bit. And I am always, weirdly enough, in the weird thick of things when it comes to hearing when there's 2 acts to something. I'm always the one that's the fan of the less popular one. And this is actually one of the ones where I actually agree with a lot. And I think some of that is because of how John M. Chu ended up adapting this movie. Personally, for me, there's one massive issue that kind of resides in part 2, personally. And I think if the Broadway play has a lot of these similarities, or just is that's how it was adapted, was strictly through there, I would still have the same issues if I'd watched the play, if I'm being honest. Many people in the comments telling me, oh, well, that's how the play was. I don't need that. This is a movie adaptation. I need the movie to work. Definitely still want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section, so make sure to leave your thoughts down below. And without further ado, let's get into this. And I actually think I want to start talking with my biggest issue with Wicked for Good, because I think there is one big issue with the movie. I wanted more of it. I wanted more of Wicked for Good. And I mean that in a less selfish way. I mean that in it feels like they did not develop the back half of these characters specifically to get us to their motivations and to get us to where the story needed to end at in a good light. Honestly, a lot of it felt a little bit fabricated, felt like kind of off the cuff, and certain decisions that characters make just didn't feel real in those moments. And it sucks because that's not how the first one felt. The first one felt like everything had evolved perfectly. It just kind of brought together. And obviously that movie was almost 3 hours long, but the pacing in the first movie felt immensely better. It didn't feel like 3 hours long, where this one actually felt like its runtime and actually felt longer. I think it's because it's so scattershot. It's doing so many different things, and it just feels like it's more sequences than it is actually telling a cohesive story. Now, that's not to say that the story's not cohesive and streamlined enough. It's easy to understand, but it really is just the moments in between everything and certain beats. I'm not talking about every choice that characters make that don't make sense, but there are certain choices in here where a character is like pissed, and then like in the next sequence, they're over it, or they change their mind. And while I will say the first part does a really good job of you understanding why they would, I never thought that was a thing in part 2. I felt like there were certain scenes or just things missing. I think one of my biggest detriments to the film is that, of course, and one of the things I was really excited for was to see how they adapted certain things from Wizard of Oz. Now, I understand the play is not like that, but I'm always fascinated to see how like things connected, even from part 1. And I wasn't expecting a lot of interconnected tissue there, but I have to say, I actually think they should have adapted some of that. I'm in the minority where I think they should have showed Dorothy's face. I think they should have gone into that. I think it was actually glaring and kind of like took me out of the moment that they weren't showcasing this or just showcasing the adventure just a tiny bit, because their adventure is so key to their story. And I just, as someone who loves The Wizard of Oz, it's just one of those things that I just didn't understand. Again, I understand the play. I have to showcase that because I know people will come for me on that. But it's something I think I would also have an issue with while watching the play as well. It just felt like Act 2 just didn't have enough to flesh itself out, where I felt like whether it was new scenes or new dialogue or just new things for these characters to be developed just a little bit more, I just never felt like I got enough of these characters to understand. But with that said, and me complaining about not getting enough of Elphaba or Galinda, I actually am really happy that they showcased a little bit more of the other ones. Jonathan Bailey's amazing in the first part, and I thought he was great in here. Bach is also really good in the first part, but he's even better in here. Nessa Rose, I like the actress in this, and I think she does like a solid job. I think some of this is just like the way that they showcase the sequence itself. But again, time has passed, and it just feels like some of these characters have changed in ways that I just don't think fully fit for what I could believe in personally as someone who's not locked into the Wicked world. So that is one thing to keep in mind. And I do not want to discredit any performances in here because I do think all of them are good. But there's two in here that are the obvious winners. Cynthia Erivo is absolutely phenomenal in this. She was phenomenal in the first part. I think she stole the show in the first part by far in every way. And Ariana Grande was really fun in the first part. But this is where I go as far as say Ariana Grande, she steals the show in this one. This is her show. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm so on board for Tiana Taylor winning Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars, but I actually wouldn't be pissed if Ariana Grande won for Wicked for Good. I think she's that damn good. I think she's that incredible in this movie. Point where it makes me go as far as say, I hope she continues to act more because it's not just the musical numbers and how good she is at singing, the emotion that she actually embodies in here. And I am genuinely shocked by how incredible she was in here. I know she's a good actress, but like this performance is an all-timer. John M. Chu did such a great job building that out and getting these performances out. Their relationship, their friendship is still the heart of the story in every sort of light. And I think Chu really does know what to focus on massively in this. I actually just wish the film was longer, if I'm being honest. I wish they would have added a little bit more to it in the end of the day. It just makes me go as far to say that I wanted more from Wicked for Good. I think that this is still a good movie, and I would still give it a good review. And definitely, if you are a Wicked fan, you should absolutely go and see this. Someone who wasn't sold on the first part, you're not going to be sold on the second part. In fact, you'll probably dislike the second part more. At the end of the day, I still found Wicked for Good to be magical. It's just not as magical as part one. It's a good conclusion that I think will swell fans with emotion and whimsy from the incredible performances Ervo and Grande. And honestly, seriously, Grande steals the show. The movie, I just feels like needed more for it to warrant being split into two parts. So with all that said, I'm going to give Wicked for Good a 3.5 out of 5. Once again, guys, for watching this, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and comment down below your guys' thoughts. And of course, until next time, stay classy.